Your work, your husband's work, your
Mm-hmm.
church, this club,
Right.
this organization, this group of friends. And it's just like, wow.
We say all that to say, welcome to Holiday Boundaries.
Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas, motherfuckers. Happy holidays. Life as a mom, entrepreneur, wife, friend, and human is a lot. Join me, Katie Jacobs.
And me, Brandy Chandler, every Thursday as we have unfiltered, hilarious, and relatable conversations about the ups, the downs, and the chaos of it all.
Pour a glass and pull up a seat.
Because you're always welcome at our table. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
You know what's almost here?
The holidays.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
I got my first holiday catalog yesterday in the
I
mail.
got the Amazon one this weekend.
Oh, girl. Yeah, we got that like last week, and my kids just whipped it right out of my hand. They don't send me an adult one. Do you get an adult one?
No. Mm-mm.
Does it have like vitamins and like massagers and like back
Self-help
pain
guides.
cream, self-help guides?
I don't know. So I did not know until recently that you are a holiday person.
Mm-hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
I just didn't expect.
What do you think I did? Like creep into my cave and like
Yeah.
worship the high priestess of Wicca?
I don't
Like,
know
what did you
why.
think I was doing?
I don't know.
I think it's weirder that you don't think I'm a holiday person.
Well, I just didn't think you were like super into them. But
I
you
love
like
the
'em.
holidays.
You like a holiday
No,
tradition.
I love the holidays.
Well, we can't see your pants now on the video.
I know. We're kind of working a new angle so that we
So
don't
Katie
have the...
came in holiday sparkle, and I came in my sweats. And I think that's a good representation.
You are in a very expensive knitwear set from Free People. I would not call it sweats.
But like, this is my holiday. I'm like cozy, comfort,
I'm cozy, comfy
chill,
too.
but you look really good.
Oh, thanks. I was going to wear a sequin top as we discussed, but I ended
yeah.
up dumbing it down once I saw what you were wearing.
You look good.
Thanks, babe. So do you.
But I thought that was an interesting representation.
I love the holidays. Are you not a holiday girly?
I love the holiday for the holidays. I do not like all the events that are forced upon you just because it's the holiday. Like
Shocker.
Not every organization and group of people I'm involved with, I don't feel the need to have a holiday party with all of them.
Oh.
Like it's just too much. And everybody's trying to squeeze it in 4 weeks.
It is
Everybody.
so much. Plus, we
Like-
have 2 birthdays.
We do too. We have an early December and an
So do
early
we.
January.
We have early December and then late December.
And it's chaos.
It is. The birthdays, I feel like, send me over the edge. And
Yeah.
JJ's birthday is the 9th. And inevitably, that's the week we need to do like our like Christmas party for the store.
Yeah.
And inevitably, this poor man is like, okay, I guess we can do it on my birthday.
Love hanging out with a bunch of women. Talking about
super
clothes.
fun. So yeah,
Yeah, it's chaos. And you know, when I was pregnant, it did not seem like it was around the holidays at all. It seemed so distant. But now it's like every year they seem closer and closer and closer to the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what's so hard, so with my early December birthday, we have to send her invites out before Thanksgiving to so we don't miss people. It's too late if we wait until we get back from Thanksgiving because then it's her birthday.
Oh yeah.
And then with my oldest, he's the very 1st of January. So we have to send him out before Christmas break. So it's just
that's
like
stressing me out.
absolute chaos.
I just felt my blood pressure
And I think
low.
that's why I don't like it. I'm like, I just want to sit at home and make cookies and watch a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I think that's the ideal. And I with 3 kids and 3 schools and, a lot going on, it's a lot to juggle. There's a lot happening. There's Christmas pageants. There's, holiday parties at school. There's our kid's birthday, our family birthday. There's so much happening at work stuff. It's like,
well, your work, your husband's work, your
Mhm.
church, this club,
Right.
this organization, this group of friends. And it's just like, wow.
We say all that to say, welcome to Holiday Boundaries.
Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas, motherfuckers. Happy holidays. Don't, don't lose your minds.
Happy Festivus if you're a Seinfeld.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Festivus is sounding better and better, everybody.
I love it. The earring of the grievances. If you guys, we need to put it in, we'll put it in show notes. We'll get you a clip of the Festivus.
How does
rant.
anyone not know this?
Oh, anyone who's under 40 is not going to know this reference, but it is hilarious on Seinfeld.
They make up their own holiday.
Yeah, they make up a holiday
that revolves around a metal pole.
And it's the airing of the grievances. Like you get to air everything which is actually what happens at the holidays, which is why we need boundaries.
They just cut to the chase.
Brandy, we got to get into this episode.
Seriously.
We're going to lose the people.
And the point, we decided to do this episode because boundaries for life was such a popular episode, and we got so many responses from it. And we were like, oh, well, you got to have these boundaries on holidays or you will lose your mind.
Because they're different.
And you want to experience joy. So if you don't say no to some of these things you don't enjoy.
Your favorite thing, saying no.
You're putting yourself on the back burner. So I lost my notes, so you have to do this. I only have your notes.
That's not helpful. Why don't we switch?
Okay. So, how did you come to realize you needed boundaries around the holidays?
Well, really when I started having kids and wanting to create the environment that I saw as ideal, which I know I've talked about before.
Same with kids. It was just getting chaotic and we weren't enjoying anything because we were just doing all the things people asked us to do, whether we were engaged and desired to do them or not.
And that you don't have to have kids for this to be a thing.
No. But
that's for anybody. Like if you find yourself engaging in many holiday activities that do not serve or bring you joy, we gotta reevaluate.
Yeah. I think we would have gotten there just in our marriage as we wanted different things, but we had kids, 4 or 5 years after we were married. So that was just kind of a natural time where we decided that we weren't loving how things were being laid out because we were just going along with everybody else's flow.
So at the holidays, things are different. And that makes a lot of sense. You're going with everybody else's flow, not your flow.
Yeah, and it takes a few years to figure out what you want,
Well, I was analyzing, why are the holidays an important time for a boundary? Why this time? And here's what I came up with.
Tell me.
So everybody that you're around has more time off, which means they're in vacay mode. Okay. It's what we call vacay mode. Without commitment or set schedules, there's a lot of chaos that can ensue.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, more alcohol is consumed, or is that just my family? I don't know. Maybe that's just in my family. And family dynamics and grudges tend to come up because you're around the people that you only see this time of year for this amount of time or for this whatever, this meal, this tradition, whatever it is.
There's a lot of pressure in that.
The pressure.
It's a pressure cooker.
Of seeing, get ready. The pressure of seeing family that isn't necessarily who you would want to be with in some cases.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to because everybody's with their families.
Preach it, Katie.
This can create a powder keg that just needs one little flint of and just it'll go off.
Yeah.
So all of these things combined really are, I think, what make the holidays nerve-wracking for a lot of people.
Me
and
included.
Create so much anxiety for a lot of people. Everybody, I think what is best is to really recognize that. Why am I so anxious? And why is this feeling like the closer we're getting to the holidays, I'm feeling like a ball of nerves. And I think there's a lot we can do to counteract that and to get to a place where we feel like we're going into the holidays with more joy, more fun. And I'm saying, as I was working on this show, this felt like I was coming up with options for myself.
Me, same.
Look at us
I
go.
was like getting my boundaries ready for the holiday.
I was thinking a lot about the calendar, and even just as we were sitting here, like sitting down with the calendar, like what am I willing to do? What am I not willing to do?
Yeah.
You know, what are the things I am willing to leave behind, and what are the things I really want to embrace?
And something that mostly hits me with like gift giving with my children. But the more I think about it, I think it's really applicable to the whole holiday scene. Is this is a huge season of keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh, yes.
You want to do all the fun things your friends are doing. You want to go to all the fun events. You want to give your kids all the great presents. And to me, that's something I might get caught up in, but then I almost like have a hangover from. And then I feel like bleh after, because that's not me. I was just like caught up in the chaos and just got like mixed up in what I want and what everyone else is doing. And I just fell victim to a trend.
I think there are two sides of this coin. There is the, if you are a parent and have children side of things. And then there is the other family and other dynamic side of things.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, if you have a Venn diagram, there's crossover. But I think there are kind of two very distinct parts we need to talk about. So the kids part is about creating a joyful but not overly stressful experience. And I'll go back to, we've talked about kid birthday parties before. We did away with them because we weren't as like when we were trying to do these big kid birthdays, it ended up JJ and I are arguing because we can't get the, you know, this is going on and nobody's having fun. And then it's like, you get to the party and you're just glad when it's over. Well, that's not a joyful experience for anybody. Certainly not the birthday child or the birthday parent or whatever. So we have started creating birthday experiences that are a lot more joyful and laid back. And everybody is able to really be there for the person we're celebrating.
Yeah.
So creating traditions so that you can plan and know what to expect, but not necessarily traditions that don't feel right or overwhelm you. I.e., like if you're not a Christmas card person, don't send a Christmas card.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I never judge. Like, I like sending Christmas cards. We've just done it every year, and I think I keep a copy of all of them, so I think it's a cool like memo for our family.
That. Well, damn it! Now I have FOMO that I don't do it.
You have to set your boundaries, Katie. What do you really want? But
then,
I've never been like, well, so and so didn't send me a Christmas card this year. We actually did not send Christmas cards last year because we were in a really bad place, as our listeners have probably caught on to. We were midlife crisis. I was like, I can't do it this year. I don't feel it. I don't feel.
You weren't going to jam it and force it.
Nope.
And try and make a square peg.
No one
fit
said
around
anything to me.
There you go. I do love to get a Christmas card. I decorate with them. I love them so much.
It's like them on her Christmas tree. It's so sweet.
So I've done that in the past, and then I've strung them on my mantle.
We've done that.
I send me your Christmas cards. Send them to Cheeky Peach.
Not her house.
I'm not putting my address out there. I've been having
Send them to me and I'll drop them off at her house.
But I love to get your Christmas cards. They make my life. But I have not sent them because I just can't get my shit together. I just can't.
And nobody cares. So if it doesn't work, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Photos with Santa, another thing you don't have to do. I have a friend who has a tradition of going. They have always gone and seen this specific Santa. They make a day out of it. And it's a beautiful family tradition that brings them joy.
Does not ruin joy.
Every time I take my kids to see Santa, it is such a shit show. It is a nightmare.
I literally did it one time when my 14-year-old was like 1, and I've never done it again. I was like, not for me.
Not for me either.
The line?
But
with kids, whose idea was this?
But it's great. You can make appointments now.
You still wait in line.
You don't need to be overbooking and over engaging. Like if you get invited, if you're a very social person, you get invited to a lot of Christmas parties. If you're involved in a lot of organizations like Brandy and Josh, like you're going to have to pick and choose. You can't do a party every night. It's not sustainable. You'll be worn out and exhausted.
And so this is something I've noticed. Have you noticed this? Really last year, it really came to a head for me. So everyone tries to avoid doing it too close to Christmas now. So we literally will have like 10 events the first weekend in December.
Yeah, it's awful.
because everyone's trying to avoid Christmas.
there's
And
like
now we're all
one-
on the first weekend.
Or there's like one weekend that works because we're in Athens, which is a UGA football,
Yeah.
and we have playoff games, I think, in December. So it's like one weekend is everyone's trying to cram everything in. It's a nightmare.
Everything. It's horrible.
It's
and then
horrible.
you don't enjoy any of it.
No.
So I just don't do any of it.
Well, that's good. Listen up, baddies. Our Patreon is growing like crazy. If you're loving the podcast, it's a phenomenal way to hear more exclusive content, including our monthly catch-ups, which are absolutely hilarious, uncut episodes, shorts, and coming very soon, interviews, and more content piggybacking off of our most loved episodes. We can assure you we are unfiltered and maybe even a little feral. So go to the Linktree on our Instagram page at Podcast She Did What to get straight to our Patreon and join today. Remember, if you join as an executive baddie, you'll get an episode's shout out as well. We can't wait for you baddies to see this extra content.
So I grew up in a family that like had someone come in and decorate for Christmas.
I thought about doing that this year.
Well, no, needless to say, our Christmases were over the top.
Give me this person's name.
They don't do it anymore, but they were really good at it. I'm not into it. And you know what?
Okay.
I don't like normal Christmas decor. I like greenery.
I love greenery.
And that's it. I like greenery and a few kind of neutral ornaments. I don't want sparkle. Do not put something red in my house.
You need to go in the cave. What a fun sponge.
1 year I was like with my kids, I was
Okay,
like,
Grinch.
let's just decorate the mantle really cool this year with greenery
And that's it.
not do a tree. And they were like, Mom.
I do 2 trees and I think I'm going to do 3 this year. And they're real trees.
I might not can be your pod wife anymore.
And you know what? This year I was thinking, I was really working on a theme.
I
last
did
night,
not
and I
imagine
was
this for you.
thinking I was going to do like an English countryside Christmas. Did you not see when you opened my computer that I
Try
had?
not to look.
I had, well,
I don't know what's coming up.
That's safe. I have 900 tabs open, so you wouldn't see it. But I had like the fuzzy holiday velvet that's like a little distressed bows. I think I'm going to put on some gold.
I did navy bows last year. I got velvet ribbon, tied them on myself, and decorated. The tree just had navy bows on it.
Beautiful.
And brass bells and my greenery.
Oh, that sounds
Oh, it was
lovely. Can you
so
send me a
fabulous.
picture for inspo?
My point is that if you are not into the Christmas decor, you don't have to go extreme to still have a little piece in your house that brings you joy. And that's me. I don't
That's
like,
right.
I don't want a lot of it.
Okay.
I just a little touch.
Just a
Little touch.
just the tip.
Maybe I need more of that for Christmas.
You can just soak. You can do what the Mormons do. You can just soak for Christmas.
That seems like a nightmare.
I don't know. Maybe it's fun.
Do you limit gift giving or you go gift crazy? I'm learning new things about you every day.
I don't remember what we did last year. Yeah, last year I made some kind of stipulation.
Yeah. So I've heard people that do like the 4 gifts, something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read.
I think we did
like
that last year.
I try to go with that. I always end up over 4, but I try to like put that in my mind
Yeah.
because my kids don't need like the influx of stuff.
It's the plastic toys that break 5 minutes later and end up in the trash. Like A, from a sustainability standpoint, it drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
And B, they play for 8 minutes and then they're done. And they just get too much stuff. They don't, it's too much. They need a few things they really want to care about. Like I think, did we do one big gift last year? I can't.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what?
I try to limit.
Did I go to Lego? Did we go to Legoland last year? I think we went to Legoland last year. Was that last year? That was last year.
And you did that instead of any gifts?
So for Johnny, because it was his 10th birthday, so big double-digit birthday. So because his birthday is on the 20th, the week of Christmas, we drove down and did Legoland on the way to visit my in-laws in
like
West Palm.
Disney Legoland.
Yeah, like we went to the
I was thinking
Legoland
like
park.
the Atlanta Legoland.
No, we went to like the theme park, Legoland. So we did that for his birthday. And then I think we just did a few gifts.
Okay, so if you need to limit gifts, if you don't want to, go crazy.
Go wild.
Nobody cares.
No, who fucking cares?
You do you.
We don't
I
care.
limit events. I limit decorating.
You limit everything. Your house sounds super fun for Christmas. Your kids can come to mine.
Also,
The magical holiday. I also have 3 boys who are going to like go off and leave me one day. I have to create a magical experience. So they might think about coming home.
You're like, I gotta go for mom. She goes all out. Also, like I am the paper plate mom at school, I am the paper plate holiday participant.
Shocker. More joy. I will say last year I was super stressed about Thanksgiving because I'm in retail. Black Friday is early morning crazy. And I just spend the whole day stressed on Thanksgiving. I love to cook. So it's like my holiday, but I'm also stressed about work the next day. I'm like, it's on my brain.
Have you considered not doing Black Friday?
Well, actually I thought about this year, but we have a home game on Black Friday. So I can't really do it this year.
There's a game on a Friday?
Yeah.
Where have I been?
Well,
you know, I don't go to those.
We know you're in your Grinch cave, apparently. But
I love the Grinch movies.
Of course you do. It's you. You are the Grinch. You should be the Grinch for Halloween. So I say all that to say, last year we did a Friendsgiving and I ordered in honey baked. You can go to the Costco's. We'll have a discounted gift card. And then I buy my honey baked with the gift card. I did honey baked turkey, honey baked ham. Everybody potlucked it and brought sides. And it was so joyful.
Yeah, that sounds
It was one of my favorite Thanksgivings ever.
I'm coming this year.
Yeah, come on. It was a blast. And I was so stress-free because I got to enjoy the morning of Thanksgiving with my family, watch the parade.
Well, we were so stressed out last holiday season in general, and we just didn't want anyone's input on the things we were doing because we just didn't want to hear it because we had reached that point.
Yeah, of course.
We took off and went to the beach.
Good for you.
The whole
I
family.
have friends who do that.
Yeah,
every year. They go to the beach.
We had spaghetti for Thanksgiving.
That's fabulous.
Because all the restaurants are super fancy and I didn't think the kids would eat anything for like $900 a plate.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll just have spaghetti.
That sounds and I bet they loved it.
They did. It was really fun actually.
See?
And really chill. And that's my next point. So when you said like creating holiday traditions, that made me cringe because it puts too much pressure on me.
I'm sorry.
Just me personally. It puts too much pressure on me in my mind for some reason. And I don't like to think I have to do the same thing every year just because I did it before. So I like the freedom of being able to say, hey, I don't want to go to this Christmas party this year. Nobody cares. I don't have to go this year. Like I can skip it. And like last year, we just decided to skip everything.
Sure.
And go on a trip for Thanksgiving. And I like the freedom. And I think that's a valuable thing, like knowing you have the freedom to say yes or no to things. And that doesn't lock you in for eternity.
No.
That's how I feel.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm thinking more of like have a day to make Christmas cookies. That's something I've always done. Is
but even that's just too much pressure.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know why I really
do you have Xanax in your bag? Do you need to take a break?
I don't get anxious about other things like this, but the holidays set me off.
You know what though, Brandy? And to get serious for a second, like the holidays are the highest time, like suicide rates go through the roof.
Yeah.
People feel alone. They feel overwhelmed. They feel anxious. They feel not good enough. And I'm like, it really
I'm over
is.
here feeling too loved. I'm like, y'all leave me alone.
Like everybody wants my attention and for me to come to their party.
I just feel like there's so much pressure, and that's really
there
weird
is a lot
for
of
me, 'cause
pressure.
I normally do not succumb to that.
It is, and from an intense standpoint, it is a time, and especially like if you go back to what people probably tuned in for is to hear about boundaries.
Diagnose me, Katie.
Reel it back in. So I want to talk about family dynamics when they're complicated at the holidays, because you and I have navigated this.
We don't know anything about that.
We're not novices. And I really was thinking about a roadmap for this and how we have navigated it in the past, how we will navigate it in the future. And there are some things I think intrinsically, is that the right word, intrinsically?
Sure.
We want to do, which is kind of pull back from what we perceive to be confrontation. But I think a lot of times just being really communicative and direct is not confrontation. It's just being honest and living in your truth. And I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding around that. And I see it a lot in 2024 when we're a digital age. Like if you actually have a conversation where you set the boundary or you state your needs very clearly without a lot of emotion or filler or because excuse. It's not confrontation. It's just letting someone know where you stand. So I was thinking about holidays, going back to this sort of vacay mode vibe where it can be chaotic. And that's where I get anxious, the chaos. I don't want, because I want my kids to feel safe first and foremost. joyful and experience the magic of the holiday. And for me, that looks like really managing the vacay mode around them, right? So
I love vacay mode.
I love vacay mode. Don't procrastinate would be, I think, one of the first things I'm already thinking about, like, what are things going to look like in terms of how I want them to be? You know, how do I want this holiday to look for myself and my family? And then have important conversations and set commitment expectations early.
With who?
So I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought this through, Brandy. I was on my A game.
I'm like writing all this down.
If you're married, with your partner first. If you are in or any kind of committed relationship where you are going to be doing holidays together, or maybe you're not,
And
maybe
with their families.
or maybe you are in a newer relationship where you're having to navigate new waters. Have these conversations, like pour a coffee in the morning. Do not have this after 3 cocktails halfway into the holiday. It's not going to work well.
Don't have it over eggnog.
Here's the
this
wisdom.
is pre-eggnog conversation.
Here's some wisdom. Don't do it after 3 glasses of wine on Christmas Eve. It's the wrong time. It's not the right time. You need to have these conversations early, like pour a cup of coffee and map out, what do the holidays look like for us? And, you know, some people who are maybe early in a relationship, where are we going for the holiday? What does this look like? This is something that can cause a lot of resentment in relationships, marriages.
I've been there, done that.
Where are we going to go? What feels right? And be very honest. I feel a lot of anxiety when I go to your house and I'm around this person. They make me uncomfortable, whatever. Like, could we maybe figure out a way where we can go to multiple houses, whatever it is, you know, have these conversations early with honesty. And as we talked about, I think in boundaries before, from a place of love, you know, let's honor where we need to be and who we need to see, whatever. Like if you feel like you really need to commit to seeing your family, okay, I want to do that with you. What does that look like? And then let everybody else know what your plan is early so that they can pitch a hissy fit, because they will, so that they can get upset about it, because they will. And all you need to do is say, I'm very sorry we've made our decision, and just be steadfast. I'm sorry you feel that way. This is what we're going to do this year. It's like if you've ever had witnessed a tantrum.
A few.
Okay. You just ride it out. And then like, okay, we're still at the conclusion you can't have candy for dinner. So we good now?
Yeah.
You know? So get past that. And the earlier you do it, the better. And then just make sure you're prioritizing yourself, your children, your families, your happiness, and your safety. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to get shivved by Uncle Bob.
You're emotional.
Shanked by Uncle Bob.
Either or.
Either or works here. I mean, like your emotional security.
Yeah.
Does not need to go out the window.
I mean, because you don't want to come up on December 31st or January 3rd and be like, that was just not fun. Because it's supposed to be a time of joy.
Or I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally drained. Aunt Sally and I got into it over politics and I knew I didn't want to see her anyway. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's a political year, which adds, I think, to all of this.
Good times.
Woo! It's going to be a party. And I'll say, like, we're talking about Christmas, but because that's what we both practice. But this is, I mean, you got Hanukkah, you've got all you and
anytime,
any religion, any celebration.
I feel the same way around Easter. Like I start getting like, I know
he is risen, and so has Brandy's anxiety.
We went to the beach this year for Easter too. Apparently, I just run to the beach. That salt air just sets it right.
But did it?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
We took off with our buds. We're like, he is risen over that ocean.
Oh, I bet that was a beautiful day to witness Easter for your family. So mapping out a plan ahead of time and letting the family know what the plan is.
Yeah. Even if that involves a escape somewhere without the family.
Hey, we're going to go. This is what we're doing. And you will find, if you are newer to this practice, that you are going to be okay. If you are putting up a boundary and you're arguing on it, you're going to be okay. Don't argue. Drop the rope. You don't have to play tug of war. Drop the rope.
Yeah.
And say, this is the decision that's made. Just stay steadfast. And then your boundaries will become respected.
Yeah.
You will start to get respect of your boundaries.
And
it'll get easier and you
so
will love it. But some of you might be going through the gateway to hell right now.
Yeah.
And if you're going through hell, keep on going. Okay. Churchill quote, keep on going, because there is a better side to this, but you just have to get to it.
Yes.
You just have to make it to the other side, and you will be okay. And you will have a joyful, loving, the experience that you really want to create for yourself.
Yeah.
And or your family.
I agree.
Don't cave. Remember, this is for your comfort.
Stay strong.
As you said, phoning it in. That was like my last point, was like, phone it in if you have to.
Yeah.
You do not have to do anything you don't want to do. You really don't.
The freedom of doing something you actually want to do, like once you do it, that's just such a little emotional high, and you feel so good, and you're not stressed out, and it's not complicated, and it's worth it. It's worth the maybe discomfort up front of telling someone, I'm sorry, but we're not going to make it this year. And then going, so that's a small discomfort up front. And then the benefits you reap from doing what you actually want to do that brings you joy afterwards are.
Yeah. My friends and I have a lot of conversations around these dynamics at the holidays and creating these boundaries. And I think the biggest mistake people make is they wait for that awkward moment where it gets brought up. And then it's like this awkward exchange happens that's passive aggressive. And then someone's upset because they just found out that you're not going to be at Christmas Eve. And that's when they always expect you. And suddenly, and the delivery is really everything. Like I cannot emphasize that enough. Your delivery is going to make or break this whole thing.
And that's why I almost could recommend like making a huge break one year. Like going on a trip one year and we're just hard out. There's no way we can make it. So then every year after that, it's just easy.
What if you can't afford a trip? What would you do?
Say you're going on a trip.
We're going on a trip. We're going to be on our island. It's the Jacob's house. That might
be a way to, do a hard break.
A hard reset.
But also that distance, or like going to someone else's house that is further away for the holidays, the break in tradition and the distance kind of doesn't give anyone else a leg to stand on. Not just saying, we just want to be home with our family. Like we are in another state. Like
we cannot be reached.
Coming. And so maybe next year you say, I think we're just going to stay home and be with our little family this Christmas Eve. And, you've already done 1 year. Everyone survived. The world did not crash.
Right.
So the next year is a little easier. I'm just saying, that's my personal.
Well, you also have family that's very close here, and a lot of people don't. So they have to make a decision around travel.
Where to go. We get to go to all the families.
Well, you also layer in aging parents, and there's a lot of guilt there if you're not seeing the aging family members. Like there's a lot of, I think, your situation is very specific because everybody's local. So your kids get to see, but there's a lot of, I think for others, guilt and like, where do we go? What do we do? Or choice, between which set of
or like family. If it's your year, but something comes up and you have to go to the other,
There's a lot of decisions you have to make. So that's why that first conversation, if you are in a relationship, is the most important, because you're going to figure out like, where are our hearts going this year? Where are our heads going this year? And like, I'll tell you, to back up, like we had my husband and I, point of contention, because we decided to pivot. We were going to go on vacation for the 4th, which was less than a month after my dad passed away. And we ended up pivoting to Florida. And I talked about it in Tantrums episode. I had like a breakdown. Yes. It was not good. Like I was not in a good place. That was not probably a trip I should have been on in hindsight.
Because you did want to go to begin with.
No, it was my idea to go. I wanted to go. I wanted to see my in-laws, but I didn't realize how hard it was going to hit me to be with a nuclear family, like a very happy, healthy nuclear family. And it was very difficult. I was not prepared for that trip emotionally.
I can see
and thinking back on it, I didn't know that I wasn't prepared, of course, obviously, because I really was in kind of self-preservation mode, but it was difficult. And it caused a lot of tension in my marriage because I was having a very hard time. So I don't know. There's a lot. We're always trying to spin the plates, right? We're always trying to juggle. And as women, I think we are carrying the emotional baggage of others around us. And we do have these fears. So it's the family that's out of town and aging parents and kids who need to see them and joyful holiday and who's happy and who's not. And, the crazy uncle that's, yelling about politics that makes us uncomfortable, whatever it is. And we're having to hold all of these things at once. And it can just feel like I just want to put all my family in my living room, in my bubble, and just create a little, just us time. So,
and that's fine to do, I think.
And that is fine to do,
Yeah. I'm not easily guilted into stuff. So I support people.
If we know anything about you, it's that, Brandy.
But I think that's lovely. And I just feel like it's doing the best you can with all of the things you have going on, with all of your plates. Sometimes it takes a few crashing to keep the other one safe.
Yes, absolutely. Prioritizing the plates that are like your vintage porcelain tea set you can never replace and the ones that are going to be there next year.
The ones from Target.
The Target plastic ones. They're just going to bounce right back.
They won't even break if you try.
You can't break those truckers.
And I think if boundaries are kind of new to you, go back and listen to our boundaries episode. We kind of lay out boundaries in more of a beginner level there. These are pretty specific to the holidays.
Which I think, again, is the time when a lot of people are doing that setting, that hard set.
Yeah. But I hope you guys have a wonderful, stress-free, enjoyable, take the joy out of enjoyable holiday.
Is this our last episode before we break?
It is.
So we are going on a little break. We are going to replay you our favorite episodes with some fun.
With new intros. So we'll have a little tidbit for you.
And if you want new content,
yes,
you gotta join our Patreon.
Still going on the Patreon.
So Patreon is a membership program where we put additional content episodes. You and I have started going solo a little bit.
Some after shows.
There is so much fun over there. So if you are craving more of us over the holidays,
you get a little more.
If you need a little mental break, if you need a little pour a tea and take a little, walkie by yourself or a little wine walk maybe.
That sounds like a good idea. We should wine walk an episode on Patreon.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You want a wine walk over the holidays?
Yeah.
Let's do a wine. Okay. We'll do a wine walk.
I just said yes to a holiday activity.
Brandy, I'm so proud of you. She'll be like, it needs to be at my house at 5:30 p.m. on December 2nd. Or I'm not doing it.
No, I have a birthday on December 3rd. We can't do that.
Okay. Yeah, we can't. Definitely not. Never mind. You know what? Let's just trash it. So join us on Patreon and you will get all that great content. We will be back at it right after first of the year.
Oh, it's going to be here before we know it.
And we'll be kicking it off. We've already been working on those episodes. Planning ahead. So we hope that you all stay safe,
happy,
be joyful, be loved, love and love on yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay?
You can do it.
You can do it. Bad
See you in 2025.
Happy holidays. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed our conversation and can't wait to share another episode with you next Thursday.
Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. To keep up with the latest, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Podcast She Did What. We'll be sharing updates, behind the scenes, and announcements you won't want to miss.
And if there's anything you'd like to share with us, whether it be a personal story or feedback on our episodes, you can leave us a voicemail at 762-499-2201 or head over to our website, shedidwhatpodcast.com. Also, feel free to leave us a review down below. We'd love to know what you think.
She Did What is hosted by us, Brandy Chandler and Katie Jacobs, and produced by Studio D Podcast Production.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next Thursday. And remember, it isn't always easy, but it sure as hell can be entertaining.